They're gaining on us! Faster!
Oh God, we're not gonna make it!
Rain was falling hard on Seoul. The streets of Itaewon were wet and shiny. Neon lights from the clubs and shops were on the ground like broken colors. People were laughing. Music was loud. Taxis were honking. But for Amara, nothing felt fun. She was running. Her feet hit the wet road again and again. Her breath was heavy. Her chest hurt. Her hands were shaking as she pushed her wet braids away from her face. Behind her, she could hear them. Fast footsteps. Men shouting in 2 languages. There, the African girl. But she did not turn around. She knew who they were. 2 men in dark jackets. One with a dragon tattoo on his neck. One with his hand in his pocket like he was holding a gun or a knife. Her heart screamed inside her chest. Not again. Not this life again. Not another gang. Not another death. She had come from Lagos to Seoul for a new life. For design school. For quiet nights by the Han River. For peace. Not for Mafia danger. She cut into a small alley between 2 clubs. The sound changed. The music became softer. The air felt colder. Red and blue neon lights from the signs above were on the ground like paint in every puddle. She kept running. Then she saw it. Dead end. A wall. No way out. Fear rose in her throat like fire. She stopped and turned. Her lungs burned. Her eyes were wide. She could hear the 2 men coming closer. Their shoes were loud on the wet ground. Her brain went blank for 1 second. What do I do? Where can I hide? Then she saw him. He was standing near a back door under a red sign that said, Noir. He was half in the shadow, half in the red light. He had a cigarette in his hand. Smoke moved slowly around his face. He wore a black suit. White. Shirt. Tie a little loose. His hair was dark and neat. His face looked strong. Sharp jaw. Straight nose. Eyes that looked like they didn't trust anyone. He looked like a rich CEO from a K-drama, but there was something colder. Something darker. He looked at her the second she entered the alley. Their eyes met for 1 moment. She heard the men behind her. She ran this way. Fear pushed her body forward. She did not have a plan. She did not think. Her body moved on its own. She ran straight to the stranger in the black suit. A crazy idea came to her. If they think I am with him, if I look like I belong to someone, maybe they won't see me. She reached him. Her hands grabbed his suit jacket. Her heart was beating too fast. And then she did the wildest thing in her life. She pulled him down and kissed him. The world stopped moving. His cigarette fell from his fingers and died in a small hiss on the wet floor. Her lips were cold from the rain. His lips were warm and still. Her hand was on his chest. She could feel it. His heart, beating hard, not slow and calm like his face. Behind her, the footsteps suddenly slowed. The 2 men reached the alley and stopped. She could feel their eyes looking. For 1 moment, the stranger did not move. Then his arm came up. She thought he would push her away. She thought he would shout at her. Instead, his hand went around her waist. He pulled her closer. He turned his body so that her face was hidden. His broad back faced the men. From the side of her eye, she could see them now, 2 men, wet from rain, breathing hard, confused. One of them, the man with the dragon tattoo, spoke in Korean. Did you see a girl run past here? The stranger moved his lips away from hers, but he did not move his hand from her waist. He looked at them. His eyes were calm. Too calm. His voice was low when he answered in Korean, You're standing in my way. Amara did not understand every word, but she understood the feeling. Danger. The men froze. Then something changed in their faces. They recognized him. Their eyes widened. Their shoulders lowered. Fear came into their bodies. Kang. Boss. Nim. the dragon tattoo man said. "We didn't know you were here." The stranger's thumb moved slightly on Amara's waist. A small sign of control, a small warning. "Then you know to move," he said. No shouting, no long sentence, just one cold, simple line. The two men looked at each other. "Let's go," one muttered. "We're wasting time." They backed away. Their footsteps slowly disappeared, back into the noise of Itaewon. The alley was quiet again. Rain, neon on water, her heart beating in her ears. Then he stepped back. The kiss ended. Cold air came between them. Amara stumbled a little, her face hot even in the cold night. She stared at him. He was even more intense up close. There was a tiny scar near his eyebrow, a raindrop on his eyelashes. His eyes were dark and sharp, but there was something new in them, something she didn't know how to name. "What?" he asked in slow English. "Do you think you're doing?" His breath touched her lips when he spoke. Her mouth was dry. I'm sorry," she said. "They were chasing me. I panicked. I couldn't think. I had no choice." "You used me," he said. His voice was quiet. "Yes," she said honestly. "I did. I'm sorry. Thank you for helping me. I will go now." She took one step back. Her arms wrapped around herself. He watched her, like she was a problem he wanted to solve. "Name," he said. She blinked. "What?" "Your name," he repeated. "You kiss a man like that. You should at least tell him your name." In Lagos, she had learned, never trust strangers. Names have power. But this man had just saved her life. "Amara," she said. "My name is Amara Okafor." His lips moved with the sound silently. "Amara Okafor," he repeated. He said it clearly, with respect. "From where?" "Nigeria," she answered softly. "From Lagos." He stared at her for 3 long seconds. Then he snapped his fingers once. From the dark corners of the alley, men stepped out in suits. She had not seen them at all before. They were there the whole time. Silent, waiting. Her stomach dropped. "Minho," the stranger said. "Yes, boss," one of the men replied. "Find everything about her," he said in Korean. "Nay," Minho answered. "No," Amara said quickly. "You don't have to do that. I'm nobody. I was just—" The stranger ignored her protest. He kept his eyes on her. "Go home, Amara Okafor," he said, "before those men realize whose protection you just used." "I didn't ask for—" "You did," he cut in, voice softer but firm. "When you kissed me." Rain fell between them like a curtain. He looked at her one more time. She felt like he could see straight through her. Then she turned and ran again. This time, not from gangsters, from him, from the Korean Mafia boss she had just kissed without knowing his name. He watched her leave, her figure getting smaller until she faded into the bright street. Only then did he touch his lips. Kang Jae-won, boss of one of Seoul's most feared Mafia families and CEO of Kang Group, realized something dangerous. For the first time in years, his heart had moved, and it moved because of her. Morning came. Seoul tried to look new and clean, like nothing bad ever happened in its streets. The Han River shined under the soft Sunday. People hurried with coffee cups in their hands. School kids laughed in groups. In a small room in Mapogu, an alarm rang. Amara groaned and opened her eyes. Her body ached. Her legs felt heavy from running. Her lips still felt strange from that kiss. She stared at the ceiling and whispered, "What did you do, Amara?" She could still see him. Black suit, cold eyes, warm mouth, and the men calling him Boss Nim. She got up, showered, and dressed. Black jeans, warm sweater, puffy jacket, braids tied back. She wanted to look normal, simple, invisible. Her phone buzzed. "Bibi, babe, You didn't text me after your translation job. Are you alive or kidnapped? Or married to a rich Korean man? Amara sighed. Amara. I'm alive. Amara. I'll tell you later. Amara. It's crazy. Amara. You at the cafe today? Bibi. Yes, 3 p.m. shift. Come. I want the full story. Amara smiled a little, despite everything. She stepped outside. Seoul looked like always. Small convenience stores. Old ladies with shopping bags. Students with backpacks. Buses, cars. Lines, lights. But to her, every black car now looked dangerous. He won't find you, she told herself. He is rich. He is busy. You are just a random girl who kissed him once. He will forget. She wanted to believe that. In Gangnam, on the top floor of a glass building, Kang Jae-won was reading. Minho stood in front of his desk, giving a report. Name, Amara Okafor, he said. Age, 24. From Lagos, Nigeria. Design student on scholarship. Lives in Mapogu. Works part-time at Cafe Obe in Hongdae. No criminal record. No known gang ties. No family here? Jae-won asked. Only a close friend, Minho said. A South African girl. They talk a lot. Jae-won closed the file slowly. From his window, he could see Gangnam. Tall buildings, clean streets, people walking like they were in a drama but didn't know it. He owned many of these buildings on paper. He controlled many of these streets in the shadows. Boss, underboss, advisors, enforcers. He was on top of them all. His father had taught him to feel nothing, to hit without thinking, to shoot without shaking. But after one kiss in the rain, his heart was suddenly loud again. Do we stop watching her? Minho asked. No, Jae-won answered. If the Busan Dragons were chasing her, she is now in the game. She may not want to be, but she is. Keep an eye on her. She cannot be touched. And if she refuses your help? Minho asked. A dark look passed through Jae-won's eyes. We protect her anyway, he said. Cafe Oba smelled like coffee, milk, and fresh bread that afternoon. Warm yellow lights made it feel soft and safe. Students studied. Couples shared desserts. Old women chatted over tea. Amara liked this place. Here, she was just the sweet foreign barista with good Korean and a nice smile. She carried drinks, took orders, cleaned tables. But today, her mind was not calm. She saw the alley again and again in her head. The men, the kiss, his eyes. Yeah, you're somewhere else, Bibi whispered as they moved behind the counter. You almost put sugar in someone's Americano. I'm fine, Amara lied. You never say I'm fine in that voice, Bibi said. Tell me you did not fall for some dangerous romance last night. The bell above the door rang. Someone walked in. The cafe's noise softened just a little. Not much, just enough for Amara's heart to notice. She turned with her usual line ready. Welcome to Cafe O. Her words stopped. He was standing there. No rain now. No cigarette. No alley. Just a tall man in a dark suit and long coat. Hair neat. Face calm. Kang Jae-won. His eyes found her like he had always known where she was. Amara see, he said quietly. We meet again. Bibi's mouth fell open. You, Amara said, then caught herself. Do you want coffee? His eyebrow moved slightly. Is that how you talk to a man you kissed? He asked in English. Her face became hot. That was an emergency, she said. I told you. Nothing more. I panicked. So I was. Convenient, he said. That's not what I meant, she said quickly. I was scared. I still am. Please just order and then leave. I will order, he said, and we will talk. He walked to a corner table and sat down where he could see the whole cafe and the door. Amara saw the habit. always watching, always ready. As she prepared his Americano, Bibi grabbed her arm hard. "That's him," Bibi whispered. "That's Kang Jae, one, CEO of Kang Group. People say he has mafia ties. Real Korean mafia boss. And you kissed him?" "Please stop talking," Amara muttered. "This is a K-drama plus Nollywood crossover," Bibi hissed. "You are the main character." Amara carried the coffee to his table with a shaking hand. "Here," she said, setting it down. "Your Americano. Thank you for saving me. I'm grateful. Our story ends here. Please forget me." She turned to leave. "Sit," he said. The word was soft, but her feet stayed where they were. She slowly sat down opposite him. He wrapped his fingers around the cup, but did not drink yet. "You were chased by the Busan dragons," he said. "Do you know who they are?" "No," she said. "And I don't want to know. I just want them to disappear." "They won't," he said. "Men like that remember every face." She bit her lip. "I was hired to translate for some men in Gangnam," she said. "I thought it was normal business. I needed money. My rent is not free. My mother in Lagos needs help. I didn't know they were, whatever they are." He watched her carefully. "They used you as a tool," he said. "I left," she replied. "They chased me. I ran. You know the rest." He nodded once. "You think it's over?" he said. "It's not. I don't want your world," she said softly. "I came to Seoul to leave that life behind. Gangs killed my brother. I won't go back into that fire." "How did he die?" he asked. She looked down at her hands. "That's my story," she said. "Not yours." He did not press. Instead, he took a small black card from his pocket and placed it on the table between them. "What is that?" she asked. "A number," he said. "Mine. If anything happens to you, you call. You say your name. Nothing else." She shook her head. "I don't want to be tied to you," she said. "Your name is heavy. Your life is heavy. I want simple." "You already tied yourself to me when you kissed me," he said quietly. "The men who chased you saw you in my arms. They know you used me to escape. That makes you a piece in their game." "I'm not a piece," she snapped. "In their eyes, you are," he answered. "You can ignore this. They will not." He stood up, took the card back, and stepped closer. Before she could stop him, he slipped the card into the front pocket of her apron. His fingers brushed the fabric near her chest for just a second. Her heart jumped. "Keep it," he said. "You will call." He put money on the table, more than the coffee cost. At the door, he looked back. "For the record, Amarasi," he said, eyes never leaving hers. "That kiss was many things, but it was not convenient." Then he walked out. The cafe bell rang behind him. For a long moment, she sat there, feeling the weight of a tiny black card in her pocket and the weight of a man like him in her life. Bibi ran over, eyes huge. "Tell me everything," she whispered. Amara swallowed and said softly, "I think I just stepped into a story I don't know how to leave." Days passed. On the outside, nothing changed. Amara went to design school. She sketched shoes, dresses, and buildings in her notebook. She worked at the cafe. She called her mother at night and listened to her talk about the heat in Lagos and the neighbors. But inside, everything was different. She felt eyes on her. On the subway, she sometimes saw the same man in a black jacket at the far end of the car, reading. Near her small building, she once saw a car parked too long, engine running. In the convenience store, a woman with an earpiece stood next to her for too long, pretending to read snack labels. Nobody touched her. Nobody spoke to her. But she knew. They're his people. They're the Mafia boss's men. One cold evening, she couldn't take it anymore. She stood on a bridge over the Han River. The wind was sharp. The water below was dark and deep. The city lights were beautiful and far. "I know you're there," she called out in English and then in broken Korean. I'm not stupid. A man stepped out of the shadow near the stairs. He bowed slightly. Miss Okafor, he said, boss just wants to make sure you are safe. I don't want his safety, she said. Tell your boss to leave me alone. The man gave a small, sad smile. Danger does not listen when we say leave me alone, he said. Danger listens when boss speaks. That night, it was hard to sleep. She was angry at the Busan Dragons for chasing her, at Kang Jae-won for pulling her into his world, at herself for needing his help, even a little. But deep inside, under the anger, there was something else. Curiosity, pull, heat. One afternoon, after class in Gangnam, she walked out with her sketchbooks in her arms. A black car stopped in front of her. The door opened. Get in, a familiar voice said. No, she said without even turning. Amara, see, he said, getting out of the car. You don't even know why I'm here. I know enough, she said. Every time you appear, my life becomes more like a drama. I didn't sign up for that. He stopped in front of her. Students walked around them, some glancing at his expensive suit and sharp face. 2 nights ago, he said, my men stopped a car near your home. They had your photo. They were planning to take you when you walked from the station. Her blood turned cold. How do you know that? She whispered. Because they work for the Busan Dragons, he said. And the Busan Dragons want to hurt me. Now they know you and I are connected. I never asked to be connected to you, she said. I just asked to not die. And I am trying to make sure you don't, he said. So I have a plan. She crossed her arms. Of course you do. You will work for me, he said. Officially, at Kang Group, as my translator. She stared at him. I already have a job, she said. 2 jobs, actually, translator and barista. This one pays more, he said, and gives you protection. If people see you beside me in meetings, if they think you are part of my CEO life, it becomes harder to touch you without starting something big. And what do you get? She asked. He held her eyes. You near me, he said honestly. Her heart skipped. And if I say no? She asked softly. Then you walk alone tonight, he said. And we hope those men got scared enough to never try again. I do not like living on hope. She thought of her brother again, how he trusted the wrong people, how he trusted they would stop. They didn't. She closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them. I will work, she said, for now. But listen, Kang Jae. 1. I am not your toy. I am not your decoration. I am not your weakness. I will work. I will go home. That's all. You are already my weakness, he said quietly. But I accept the rest. Kang Group's top floor looked like another universe. Shiny floors, art on the walls, glass everywhere, people bowing and saying Daipyonim as he passed. He walked through it, like he was born there. Amara walked behind him, trying not to stare too much. He opened the door to his office. It was big and bright. One whole wall was glass, showing Gangnam below. There was a large desk, a long table for meetings, and a smaller desk near the window. This is your seat, he said, pointing to the smaller desk. She sat down slowly, placing her notebook and pens. So this is where the big boss works, she said under her breath. I work here, he said, but I live between this floor and the streets below. She looked at him. What does that mean? He looked back at her. It means I am both CEO and Mafia boss, he said simply. I shake hands in the light and make deals in the dark. She swallowed. Don't worry, he added. I will not pull you deeper than I must. I don't trust your must, she replied. He smiled very faintly. Good. You shouldn't. Days began to settle into a strange rhythm. In the morning, she came to his office. She translated documents. She sat beside him in meetings with foreign partners. He would speak in Korean. She would change it to English. The other person answered in English. She changed it back to Korean. Sometimes, she fixed his words without fear. "That sounds too strong," she'd say. "Try this instead." He did not like when people corrected him. But with her, he listened. "You see things clearly," he told her one evening, as they walked down the hallway after a long meeting. "I grew up reading people," she said. "If you don't read them right in Lagos, you die." He looked at her side profile. "You survived," he said. "Barely," she said softly. One night, she went to the rooftop to breathe. The city was spread out like stars at her feet. The Han River was a long, dark ribbon. The wind was cold, but gentle. She hugged her arms around herself. "You like high places," his voice said behind her. She turned. "Do you sleep at all?" she asked. "Not much," he answered, walking to stand next to her. They stared at Seoul in silence for a moment. "You did well today," he said. "You always say that," she said. "What does well even mean for you? No one died?" "Yes," he said simply. "That helps." She laughed once, but there was no joy in it. "My brother thought like you," she said after a while. "He thought he could control bad men. He thought he could stand between them and us. He thought he was strong enough." "What happened?" he asked gently. "A job went wrong," she said. "They told him to do something he didn't want. He refused. He tried to run. They shot him in the back, in an alley. I held him while he died. I still hear his breathing sometimes when I close my eyes." She bit her lip hard. "I lied to my mother," she added. "I told her he found a job in another country. She still calls his old number sometimes, just to hear his voice on voicemail." Jae-won's chest hurt in a way he didn't know how to stop. "I'm sorry," he said. "Sorry doesn't bring him back," she said. "It just makes the room quieter." "My father killed a man in front of me when I was 14, he said suddenly. She turned to look at him. "He beat the man with his hands," he said. "Then he gave me a gun and said, 'Next time, you shoot.' He said, 'Love was weak.' He said tears were shame. He said to survive in this world, you must feel nothing." "Did you listen?" she asked. "Yes," he said. "Too well." They looked at each other. 2 lives, 2 countries, same broken feeling. "You could leave this," she said. "You have money. You have power. You could disappear. Start fresh." "And go where?" he asked. "Every city has a shadow. Men like me never become clean. We just hide better." She looked back at the lights. "I thought if I came to Seoul, I could become someone else," she said. "Just a normal girl, a student, a cafe worker. But now, standing next to you, I feel like danger finds me anywhere." "Maybe you are not made for normal," he said quietly. "Or maybe your world is too big," she replied. He moved closer, very slowly. His hand reached out, and he took her cold fingers in his warm ones. Her heart jumped. "What are you doing?" she whispered. "Reminding myself that you are real," he said. "Sometimes I think I imagined you." She looked at their hands. His was larger, strong, with small scars on the knuckles. Hers was smaller, darker, with ink stains from pens. They did not fit, but they did. "You should let me go," she whispered. "I can't," he said. "Why?" she asked. He looked into her eyes and did not lie. "Because for the first time in many years," he said, "I want someone who is not money or power, and it is you." Her breath caught. "And that scares me more than my enemies," he added. Her heart and mind both went quiet at the same time. She should have pulled her hand away. She didn't. Life around them did not stop just because feelings grew. Deals still happened. Meetings still came and went. Seoul still moved. But something inside both of them began to change. He became more careful with her. She became more honest with him. They also fought. A lot. At crosswalks. He would pull her gently to the other side of him so she was further from the cars. "I'm not a child," she said. "I know," he replied. "Children get less attention from enemies. You get more." In elevators, he always stood between her and the door. "You are obsessed with standing like a human shield," she complained. "That is exactly what I am," he said. For you, at the cafe when she still picked up some shifts, she noticed men in suits always sat where they could see her. She knew they were his. She pretended she didn't. One night, Kang Group hosted a charity event by the Han River. Lights were hanging everywhere. Cameras flashed. Rich people laughed and shook hands. Amara wore a simple long black dress with long sleeves and a beautiful African headscarf with gold patterns. She felt nervous, but also proud. She was pouring herself a drink at a side table when a young photographer came over. "You work for Kang Group, right?" he asked politely. "Yes, as translator," she said. "Your scarf is very beautiful," he said. "Can I see the pattern?" He gently touched the edge of her scarf. It was innocent, a small touch, but someone saw it. Across the open space, Jaewon turned from a group of investors. His eyes went straight to her. His calm face changed. His jaw tightened. He walked toward them. People moved out of his way like water. He stopped right between Amara and the photographer, his back to her now. "Is there a problem, Kang-si?" the photographer asked, trying to smile. "You are standing too close," One said quietly. "To what?" the young man asked with a small nervous laugh. "To my woman," One answered. The words felt heavy in the air. Amara's heart jumped. Her cheeks grew hot. Her fingers tightened around her cup. The photographer swallowed. "I didn't mean any disrespect," he said quickly. "Then remember this," Jaewon said. "Next time, you respect more." The photographer bowed too many times and hurried away. Amara grabbed Jaewon's arm, pulling him to the side. "You can't say that," she hissed. "Say what?" he asked. "That I'm your woman," she said. "You don't own me. I am not something you can mark in front of everyone." His eyes still had that wild fire. "Do you know how these men see you?" he asked. "As a toy, as a game, as something they can flirt with to get under my skin. I would rather they see you as untouchable." "That's not respect," she said. "That's possession." "I don't know how to do it any other way," he said. "This is the only language these men understand. The language of mine." "This isn't love," she whispered. "It's control." His jaw clenched. "You think I don't know that?" he asked. "I never tried to love anyone. I never wanted to. Then you kissed me and walked into my life, and now every man who looks at you feels like a threat to my lungs." She stared at him, shocked by his words. "Maybe you don't want me," she said softly. "Maybe you just want control." "Maybe," he said honestly. "Or maybe both. I don't know yet." Before she could answer, Minho rushed over, face serious. "Boss," he said in Korean, "the Busan Dragons have one of our men. They sent a message. They want to trade. Tonight. At the docks." Jaewon's eyes became cold again. "A trade for what?" Amara asked. "For me," he said. "Then you're not going," she said. He gave her a look. "This is not your decision. If you go, they could kill you," she said. "Then what? Your men? Your mother? Your whole organization? If I don't go, they will kill the man they took," he said. "And they won't stop there. They will push more. They will use you. I can take many hits, but I will not watch my people die when I can stand in front. Let the police handle it," she said, knowing it sounded childish even as she said it. He almost smiled at the idea, but there was no humor in his eyes. "The police do not handle men like us," he said. "They clean the blood after." He turned to leave. "Drop me home first," she said. "No," he replied. "You're coming." "What?" No, I'm not, she snapped. If you stay alone, they can grab you, he said. If you are near me, surrounded by my men, I can at least see who tries. This is insane, she whispered. Welcome to my life, he said. The docks were cold and dark. Metal boxes, old warehouses, lights from the city, far away. Black cars parked in lines. Men in suits stepped out. Kang Jae-won walked in front. His men spread out around him. They knew their places. Who watched? Who spoke? Who held the guns? Amara stayed behind a thick pillar. Her heart pounded in her ears. She had seen things like this in movies. Now she was in one. Across the open space, another group arrived. The Busan Dragons. The man with the dragon tattoo led them. Long time, Kang Jae-won, he called out. Not long enough, Jae-won said back. They spoke in low Korean. Amara caught only pieces. Territory, shipments, money, respect. Then the dragon man looked past him and saw her in the shadows. Aha, he smirked, switching to English. The African girl. The one who kissed the famous boss in Itaewon. You brought her too. Amara's stomach twisted. Jae-won's body tensed. If I wanted to trade her, he said coldly, you would already be dead for asking. Dragon Neck laughed. You must like her, he said. Maybe we should ask her if you're really as cold as they say, or if you melt when she touches you. The gun in Jae-won's hand appeared so fast, Amara almost didn't see it. One moment his hand was empty. The next, he was pointing a gun at Dragon Neck's head. His men moved. Guns came out. The Busan Dragons drew theirs too. One wrong move, and it was war. Boss, Minho hissed. Think. Amara's heart stopped. She saw Lagos, an alley, blood, death. Her legs moved before her brain did. She ran in front of him and pressed both hands on his chest, standing between his gun and the other man. Stop, she cried. Please stop. Move, he said through his teeth. Amara, move now. If you shoot him, you start a war, she said, her voice shaking. If you start a war, a lot of people will die. Your men. Maybe me. Maybe you. Is he worth all of that? Because he said some ugly words. He disrespected you, he said angrily. I'm still alive, she said. He wins if you lose control. You taught me that tonight. His finger was tight on the trigger. If you stay here and they shoot, he said, you die first. Then they lose their toy, she whispered. And you lose your excuse to become the monster your father wanted. Something in his eyes shifted. Slowly, his finger relaxed. He lowered the gun. The air in the warehouse changed as all the guns lowered too. Dragon Neck laughed nervously and stepped back. Look at you, he said. Soft because of one girl. Not soft, Jae-won said coldly. Just patient. The rest of the deal went on, word by word, threat by threat. In the end, they got their man back, bruised but alive. The Busan Dragons left with anger in their eyes. This fight was not finished, not even close. But for now, the night was quiet again, at least on the outside. After the meeting, most of the men left the warehouse, checking cars and roads. Only a few stayed inside. Amara leaned against a cold pillar, her body heavy. Her hands were still shaking from touching the gun. You are crazy, she said when Jae-won walked over. You were going to shoot him in front of everyone. He insulted you, he said simply. I am not worth a war, she said. His eyes were dark but honest. To me, you are worth more than a war, he said quietly. Her heart skipped and then began to beat faster. This is your problem, she said. You call this love, but it looks like obsession. He took a slow breath. When I first took a gun in my hand, I felt nothing, he said. When I watched my father beat a man to death, I felt nothing. when I took this city, when I made men bow, when I signed contracts with blood under them. I felt nothing. He looked straight at her. But that night in Itaewon, when you ran to me and kissed me, my heart moved, he said, and it has not stopped moving since. Her eyes filled with tears. Don't say things like that, she whispered. You don't know me. You know my file, my school, my job. That's it. I know enough, he said. I know you left your home to escape gangs. I know you lost your brother. I know you work and study and still send money to your mother so she can eat and dream. I know you laugh with your friend Bibi at the cafe, even when you're tired. I know you step in front of danger for people who don't deserve it. And I know that when you are scared, you still stand. His voice softened. And I know that you kissed me once to survive, he added. And that kiss ruined me. How? She asked, tears slipping down. I can't sleep without wondering if you're safe, he said. I can't pull the trigger without seeing your face in my mind. I can't stand in a room full of people without feeling the empty space where you are not. She shook her head. This is not healthy, she said. I am not a healthy man, he replied. I am a mafia boss, but for some reason, with you, I want to be a human man, even if I don't know how. He moved closer, his hand lifted, slow, giving her time to step back. She didn't. He wiped a tear from her cheek with his thumb. You are dangerous to my heart, he said softly. But I am more dangerous to anything that tries to hurt you. She let out a short, broken laugh. You sound like a K-drama line, she said. He smiled a little. Maybe, he said, but I mean every word. She looked up at him. Really looked. He was not just a cold boss. There was a boy inside him once. A boy who watched his father choose violence. A boy who decided he would control the pain so the pain could not control him. And what about me? She asked. If I stay beside you, what happens to my life? You will never walk alone again, he said. That I can promise. That sounds nice, she said. But it also sounds like a cage. It can be a shield, he replied. But I will not lie. My world is sharp. There will be blood. There will be fear. There will be nights like this. Her chest rose and fell. Then why not let me go? She asked. Let me leave Seoul. Forget me. Stay safe. Keep your power. Because I already tried to live without feeling, he said. And now that I've felt you in my life, going back to empty feels worse than death. Silence filled the space around them. Then she did something she didn't expect from herself. She stepped closer. Her hand slid up his chest, fingers gripping his suit. Don't break me, she whispered. I'll spend my life trying not to, he said. He leaned in. This kiss was slow and deep. His lips were gentle, not rushed. Her hands pulled him closer. His hand held the back of her neck, like she was precious. The world outside of them disappeared. No Busan dragons. No guns. No father. No brother. Just an African woman and a Korean man standing in a cold warehouse, burning in a warm moment. When they finally parted, they stayed close, foreheads together, breath mixing. You kissed me to escape danger, he whispered. Now I will stand between you and danger until my last breath. You can't promise that, she said softly. I already did, he answered. He held her face, with both hands now. From today, he said, you are not my translator only, not my employee, not my tool. You are my person. Her lips trembled into a small smile. That's a strange word. I am a strange man, he said. For a short time, the heavy warehouse felt almost peaceful. Then Minho's phone rang again. He answered, listened, and his face turned serious. Boss, he called. You need to hear this. It's bad. Jae-won did not let go of Amara's hand as he turned. What is it? He asked. Someone leaked our security footage. Minho said. From the rooftop. The night you and Amara C were together. Talking. Holding hands. Amara froze. What do you mean leaked? She asked. The video was sent to the Busan Dragons, Minho said. To the police. And to your rival CEO in Gangnam. Jae-won's eyes went dark. Only top security has access, Minho added. This is an inside betrayal. Before they could say more, the sound of high heels echoed on the concrete. A woman walked into the warehouse. Her coat was white, her hair long and perfect, her lips red like fresh blood, her eyes cold. Soojin, Jae-won said. His ex. The only woman he had let close before he became the man he was now. The one who knew how to hurt him. She smiled, holding up her phone. On the screen, paused, was the rooftop video, him and Amara. Hands joined, eyes soft in the Seoul night. You really surprised me, Jae-won, she said in smooth Korean, then switched to clean English. An African girl and a Korean mafia boss. Very global, very modern, very weak. Her eyes went to Amara, slow and sharp. So you are the famous Kiss, she said, the girl who made him soft. Amara swallowed, but didn't look away. Soojin smiled wider, but it didn't reach her eyes. I sent this video to a lot of people, she said. Your enemies know. The police know. Your rivals know. They all see one thing now. Kang Jae-won has a weakness. A very beautiful, very easy to kill weakness. She took a few steps closer. Tell me, Jae-won, she said. How much of your empire will you burn to keep her alive? The warehouse lights flickered. Outside, more engines were heard. More doors. More footsteps. Maybe the Busan Dragons. Maybe the police. Maybe both. Maybe others. Amara felt fear climb into her chest again. But Jae-won's hand tightened around hers. He pulled her slightly behind him, body in front like a wall. He did not look afraid. He looked ready. Soojin tilted her head. So, she said softly, here is your choice. She lifted her phone again. Your empire, she said. Or your forbidden love. The air was heavy. So many guns outside. So many eyes watching. So many men waiting to see what the Korean Mafia boss would choose. Amara looked at him from behind his shoulder. Her voice was quiet, but steady. I'm not running this time, she whispered. He turned his head, just enough to see her. In his eyes, for the first time, there was something clear. He was not alone anymore. He was scared. He was angry. He was dangerous. And he was hers. The warehouse doors swung fully open. Shadows moved inside. Enemies stepped in. And their story, which began with one desperate kiss in a dark alley in Itaewon, was now turning into something bigger. Not just a romance. Not just a danger. A war. A war where a Korean mafia boss would have to decide how much of his world he was willing to lose, to keep the African woman who kissed him to escape danger, and accidentally became his heart.